So once we understand what success looks like, how do we make that happen? I've listed some core pieces here: why, what, and how. So whenever we are looking into a delivery now, so once we have understood what is that we want to achieve, the question is, why do we want to do this? If the why is not defined correctly to the ecosystem that you are working under, the outcome will not be very fruitful. And there are lots of situations where we go into a project, an initiative, a delivery, where we tell people, hey, just do that. Work on this X thing or work on this Y thing. But under the underlying, we all are humans, but we don't understand why we are doing this. So I recommend, and I always encourage, that everybody in the team, in the ecosystem, has the ability to ask why. Once a team member understands why we're doing this, there will be more engagement and fruitful things will come out of it, which will tie again back to our business value, to our outcomes. So in any transformation, any project planning, any delivery, fundamentally, everybody must understand the why, even when it's uncomfortable. And that ties back to our culture, that ties back to how we operate, our operating model. So once we allow the ecosystem to be able to raise their hand and ask why, we build a culture and truly serving the purpose of achieving the value we desire. Once we understand the why as to why we want to deliver and achieve and go with this outcome, we've got to get down to what. Now, a lot of times in a regular work stream or initiative, what I've noticed in the past 10, 15 years, we get too bogged down with technology specifically. We focus a lot more on tech, and tech is what's defined as our what. But we have to look at one step above. The what is our business outcome, our functional deliverable. And to explain this in our simple terms, what to me is not what happens when you click on a website button and login happens. What is that button on that website that we need to deliver? That's the outcome, the functional deliverable. What happens when you log in is a how piece. That's the tech piece. So whenever we are working on our projects or initiatives, we've got to define our what in business functional terms, because that's the functionality users will see. The other piece, and I'll tie this back to speed as well, is whenever we define what we want to do, what is that functionality we want to achieve, and if you're in the innovation space especially, we do not want to go in a long cycle of big bangs. So I've seen some of the large initiatives, some of the big corporations worldwide, where we have programs over 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, especially if you're running an ERP engagement or something of that sort. Our first deliverable will be seen after a year and a half. If that release cycle is that long, things may change. Market requirements, value. For example, if I was running a huge financial ERP engagement, if that was the initiative for one of our setups, and I had not planned, or we had not planned for tariffs, all that work, all that outcome would be back to zero. Because in financial import, brokerage, logistics, that's the key right there right now. We've got to be able to incorporate tariffs as they come through. So in any cycle, when we define our what, we've got to focus on business deliverables, and we've got to focus on speed so we can deliver and pivot as needed